What a gift. I mean, just to get the experience of it, that could happen. That could happen to us early in the season, here with just some of the storms that have been rolling through. So I think the passing was a little sloppy. There were kind of some what would normally be like some obvious catches for guys that went through hands on both sides, really some interceptions that we kind of missed opportunities. But, the challenge to the team was coming off a day off was, I think the last rack we had, we came off a break and kind of stumbled our way into practice and found our energy by the end. But I saw JC and Derek and Ashawn grab the defense together before the first drill, and really, I could tell they were challenging each other. We got to go now. The offense kind of had the same mentality, and from snap one to the end of the practice, the energy was great. Definitely wet, definitely sloppy from that part of it. But and then we had a good move the ball. The NFL officials are here, and we had a couple of pre-snap penalties that put us into some really difficult situations. We were in a 2nd and 20 at one point, I think, and all of a sudden, big advantage for the defense. The third group goes up, play down the field, a pass interference that would have been an interception. And the offense all of a sudden gets a new set of downs and moves the field. So I just love having the officials, because some of the little things they may be getting away with at practice, we're getting called. And it's just heightening that awareness as we prepare to play our first preseason game.
Dave, from a logistical equipment standpoint, what changes did you make today to kind of account for all this?
I mean, outside of a couple of layers, I think guys just have to get comfortable. We have, rain gloves. We have weather gloves for the players. But I think, what I learned in Seattle is most of the time in Seattle, it's a light drizzle. On those days where it's a little wet, those gloves are great. When there's a lot of water, like today, they can be inhibiting a little bit. And so some of the guys will opt for just bare hand kind of playing. And then I think guys that, have a level of comfort catching the ball in the body, kind of cradling it that way, tend to find a way to the rain doesn't affect them as much. The true pure hands catching guys makes it more challenging, catching away from your body and, trying to trap a grease pig. And so I think, guys just kind of working through some of that.
Dave, the forecast for tomorrow is more the same. Have you talked to Kevin at all about any contingency plans to minimize injury risk?
We're just going to practice. The field was great. So the turf itself, there wasn't a lot of slipping. Our grounds crew have done an amazing job just making sure that, it's draining properly and all that. So we'll go out there, we'll practice, and I think Kevin kind of expects that. He texted me this morning and said, looks like rain for the next 37 days, so but it'll be good. The energy will be good. The competitive environment will bring, they won't even be thinking about the water. I promise you, it'll be about this opportunity to go against other pros. So we're excited about that.
Padded? Will it be padded?
Yes, it'll be a padded practice. We've been going back and forth. We'll have an opportunity for some of our leadership on both sides to talk to each other about, kind of like the rules of engagement and what we're expecting. We're expecting the physicality of it. We don't want people laying out and making wrap tackles. It's very similar to what we did at FanFest. And so, Kevin and I are on the same page that way. But we definitely want to get the physical, high intensity nature out of it.
When you say leadership will talk to each other, when you say leadership will talk to each other, is that players or?
Yeah. Well, actually, Kevin and I have been talking, going back and forth. But I think it's going to be important for the players to also kind of talk to each other about the expectation of what it's going to be.
When a guy doesn't get flustered by the conditions and has like a performance today like Lathan Ransom does, where he gets the pick and does a bunch of stuff, does that kind of say anything about the player to you or kind
Absolutely. Yeah, I think focus is a skill. I think focus is something you can work on. Refocus is the greater challenge. Anyone can go out for that first play on a drive and be really focused, but it's play 8, play 10 when you're tired, when the environment's, when it's really hot, when it's wet, when it's cold, and when you have the ability to just focus on your assignment and don't let all the external factors affect it, then, that's a great sign.
Brought up Ashawn from a leadership standpoint. You know, I know Derek and JC kind of are the face of the defense,
Yeah.
but how has Ashawn been as a leader for this unit?
Well, I would say of those three, Ashawn is the most vocal leader that I think we have on the defensive side. So he's typically spot on. He just kind of just takes the temperature of the group, you know, and he'll come to me and say, Coach, I think we need to talk about this, or he'll say, hey, do you mind if I say something, you know? So just a guy who's just aware of his teammates, aware of the state of the group. And he's played on some really good defenses, you know, and so I think he knows what it feels like and what it takes to play really good defensive football. And when it doesn't feel like that, you know, his senses kind of go up, and he's the one that will address the group more often than most guys.
Hunter Renfro is still sidelined. Do you have an injury update? Do you expect him to be back tomorrow?
He's doing great. He's in return to play right now with our training department. He's running. He's cutting. I think it's just the load of practice that we're just trying to be smart on and making sure that we get him completely healthy so we can really see him in these games. And I feel really strongly that he's there, but I think it's more of a capacity thing, you know. We just don't want to take him through a full day's work, throw him into team settings, and just forget about the fact that, you know, we had something come up. So, but he's doing great right now.
Expect him to play Saturday, or you still haven't made that decision?
We have not made the decision. I think we need to get through we need to have this practice tomorrow so that we can kind of regroup and see where our group is at on both sides to anticipate who's playing and how much.
What about Nick Scorton?
Nick is pretty much in the same boat. Both guys turned around in about 2 or 3 days, but I think anytime you have a soft tissue injury, we're just really apprehensive to just throw them back out there without 5 to 7 days, you know, of strengthening and really trying to get some of that high intensity exposure outside of a competitive environment, because you can control it. They can be thinking about it. When you go out there and you're just playing ball, you know, and all of a sudden you just forget about whatever's happening. And so kind of in the same boat.
And you were asked about Lathan earlier.
Yeah.
Had a great practice. What stuck out to you about him today?
Just being where he's supposed to be. I think one thing that I'm noticing about him is he always seems to be in great position to make a play. So, and that comes with study. That comes with being disciplined about owning your leverage. You know, analyzing the formation, run pass, and then putting yourselves in an athletic position to make plays. And I couldn't be happier with where he's at and where he's headed.
There was a lot of discussion about, the Panthers are considering bringing a safety here, a veteran safety. Are you guys pretty content with how the safety room is shaking out so far?
I love the competition that's happening in there. We're always going to be evaluating who's out there, whether it's free agents, whether it's players on other teams. You know, our scouting department is watching all other 31 teams through the preseason so that we can, because we have to compare. We have to look at our roster and see where people stack up, but then we have to stack all those guys up to other people on other rosters and really try to challenge it from every angle possible. So, so we'll be, you know, just kind of staying track of everybody who's out there.
What did you guys see in Ransom when you brought him in? I mean, he seems to make a play in the last 2 especially practices, a couple of picks.
Like coming in, you know, the reason we drafted him is his play style. The fact that he's a leader on a national championship team, you know. So, you know, there was just a lot we learned about him as a man, and just trying to bring those people with talent but also character. And he fit the mold of what we're looking for. And then, you know, just when you bring a rookie in, it's just a matter of how quickly can they learn your schemes, how quickly can you depend on them to do right, you know, to be where they're supposed to be.
What specific things does Derek Brown allow you to do now that you got him back after missing a whole year?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's the relentless effort, the relentless pursuit. When Dan and I think about people, the players that we want to have here forever, essentially would be the ones who have that talent but then play the right way, that we're proud to say, you know, this is a Panther, you know, and I think that's the first thing, you know, when you think about the healthy Derek Brown. When I was coaching against him in Tampa for those 2 times. It's like backside of a run, front side of a run, short pass, down the field pass. He's showing up. He comes into the picture, into the camera frame every play, you know. And so I think that's probably the greatest thing he brings to our. If Derek Brown is doing it, everybody has to do it. Everybody's running, everybody's chasing. You don't get plays off. And it's a standard that he helps to uphold. And then on top of that, he's such a dominant player inside. He can play all across the front. You know, he can play in the inside eye of a tackle. He can play on the edge of a guard. He can play over the center, you know. And in certain types of situations, he can play over a tight end with the backer outside of him. He gives us a lot of flexibility because he kind of gives you a focal point of your line where this part's immovable, this part's a problem, and then it makes offenses. I've been on the other side of it. It's like, okay, guys, we want to double him on the front side or back side, you know, and kind of like, well, if it's front side, he blows the play up. If it's back side, he chases everything down. So you're kind, you know, you just have to live with one or the other. So he creates those problems for opponents.
Hey, hold on 1 second. We'll take one more. We'll take 3 more. We got Austin right here, so we'll take a couple more questions.
Hey, Jared Crumley got injured in the exhibition opener last year. How far did it set him back, and what are you seeing from him this training camp?
Oh, he's been doing a great job all spring and certainly into camp. You know, I think he's he hadn't played in our scheme with our types of techniques, and I think Todd Wash has done a great job of just continuing to get his pad level down, get detailed with his hand placement, learning how to play doubles, and he's just taking to it, you know, and he's had some good days, some bad days, but he keeps getting better. He keeps improving.
Is there any scenario in which you would reward J.J. Jensen with a quarterback series or snap in the preseason?
Absolutely not.
Will you rest any veterans tomorrow?
I gotta look at the kind of the oscillation. We tried to limit guys' reps today so they could be out there tomorrow. I wouldn't anticipate Derek Brown going tomorrow. Just he practiced today some, but he's kind of working through, you know, that rib deal. So I don't know about getting him out there when he's going to start throwing people around and really torquing that. Yeah, it's just kind of a like bruised whatever. But his knee feels great. That's the best part of it. But I think, you know, just being smart about that, and then we'll regroup and see how we came out of today's practice. But this is a great opportunity. These joint practices are really valuable.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.